Hello, everybody. Hello, this is Margaret Kimberley with another brief snippet of a reading from my book, Prejudential, Black America and the Presidents. Of course, you should buy the book, and all you have to do is look below the video, and you can see how to buy it online, at a bookstore. The audio version, which I narrate myself, you can get all that information there. So, we are at Chapter 8, Martin Van Buren, 8th President of the United States, 1837 to 1841. Van Buren was a Northern Democrat. Now, Democrats were, for many decades, the party of the slaveholding South, the party of the segregated South, but there were Democrats in the North. They were called doughfaces. He was born in the Hudson Valley of New York. His family held slaves, and this is important to know because it's also important to know that there was slavery in the North for a very long time. Sojourner Truth, for example, was enslaved in New York State. I digress a little, but at any rate, Van Buren's father owned 6 people, and one of whom, an interesting story, a man known as Tom, escaped, was discovered living in Massachusetts, and his father tried to recapture him, wanted an assurance it would be done without violence. Nobody would commit to doing that, and so Tom remained free. The story of slavery in the United States and the reaction, the opinions of people in the North is very interesting. While many of them did not want slavery to spread, many of them did not like having it in the North for a lot of different reasons. But even when people like Van Buren, he was a state legislator in New York, he supported giving free black men in the state of New York the franchise. A handful of people, they had to have money, they had to have property. But when he ran for president, this vote was used against him. But at that point, he explicitly denied being an abolitionist, said he thought slavery was wrong, didn't they always, but said it was constitutional, and called himself the inflexible and uncompromising opponent of any attempt on the part of Congress to abolish slavery in the District of Columbia against the wishes of the slave-holding states. And it was very typical of the time. He could claim to be against slavery but not be an abolitionist. He supported efforts to ban abolitionist literature from the mail and the gag rule, which prohibited any discussion of slavery taking place in Congress. While he was president, the Amistad incident took place. Enslaved people in Cuba took control of this ship, the Amistad. Those survivors who they needed to sail the ship took it to the U.S. They were captured in Connecticut, and there was a court case determining whether they should have freedom or not. The Spanish government, Cuba was a Spanish colony, lest we forget, demanded that they be returned. Van Buren was ready to comply, but the Supreme Court ruled that the captives had to be freed. He was prepared to actually return them, but that did not happen. He was thwarted in that effort. So there's not a lot to say about Van Buren. I think that covers it, but I think it's an important part of this history. These pre-Civil War presidents, they all show us how the war came to be. We had people who wanted to always compromise with the South. It was really no compromise. They were on the side of the slaveholders, but we can't be sad with the outcome because there was the Civil War, which without which I and others argue slavery would not have ended in this country. So, buy the book, Prejudential, Black America and the Presidents. You can get purchase information if you look below the video. And I will see you again soon. Thank you very much.